Attention passionate Montreal, Canadiens fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the Atlantic Division and it could shake up the entire conference. We're talking about a direct impact on Montreal Canadiens' path to another Stanley Cup run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Montreal Canadiens fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Montreal Canadiens fans. Let's get to the news now, folks. If you've been following the NHL lately, you already know that the landscape is constantly shifting, especially in the Atlantic Division, which has become arguably the most competitive and unpredictable corner of the league. The Montreal Canadiens, a team with a rich history and passionate fan base, are right in the middle of this chaos, trying to find their footing after a season that had its ups and downs. But what's really caught everyone's attention recently is the ongoing chatter about potential trades, and more specifically, the recent statements from Tony Marinaro that have put an end to any rumors about a trade involving Lane Hutson and Jake Sanderson. And let me tell you, this isn't just about two players. It's about the future of the Canadiens and the dynamics of the division as a whole. So, to give you a little background, Tony Marinaro, a well-respected voice in hockey circles, made it clear that there's no way the Canadiens are trading Lane Hutson for Jake Sanderson. For those who might not be fully caught up, Hutson is a young, talented defenseman with incredible upside, known for his skating, puck-moving ability, and offensive instincts. He's just beginning to carve out his spot in the NHL, and fans have high hopes for his development. On the other side, Sanderson is a more established player, a 23-year-old left-handed defenseman drafted 5th overall by the Ottawa Senators in 2020. He's a solid, physical defender, standing 6'2" and weighing around 204 pounds. And last season, he put up an impressive 57 points in 80 games, despite a -14 rating. Now, why was this trade talk even a thing? It all started because of a tweet from Tony Marinaro, asking his followers, "Let's end this debate once and for all. If you could trade Lane Hutson for Jake Sanderson, would you do it?" Of course, the question was meant more to spark discussion than to suggest that such a trade is actually on the table. But as we know in the hockey world, these kinds of hypothetical questions can create a lot of buzz, especially when they involve young, promising players like Hutson and Sanderson. And the response from the fans and analysts was pretty interesting. Marc-Olivier Beaudin, a well-respected observer, chimed in on Twitter, saying that he wouldn't trade Hutson for Sanderson, but he also understood why Sens fans wouldn't want to give up Sanderson for Hutson. What this really highlights is the different styles and strengths of these two defensemen. Sanderson, with his size, physicality, and offensive production, fits a certain mold that the Senators have been developing. Hutson, meanwhile, brings a different kind of skill set, more of a finesse, puck-moving defenseman who can skate circles around opponents and generate offense from the blue line. Both are incredibly talented, no doubt about it, but the reality is that they are at different stages of their careers and have different roles within their respective teams. But here's the thing, this kind of talk, even if it's just conjecture, shows how much the Canadiens are paying attention to the division and how they're looking to build their future. Kent Hughes, the Canadiens' GM, has been very strategic in acquiring young talent, like Marco Rossi, and trying to find that balance between developing prospects and making immediate moves to improve the roster. The recent trade rumors surrounding Rasmus Andersson and the interest in players like Hutson show that the Canadiens are not shying away from aggressive moves, but they're also very cautious about giving up young assets for short-term gains. And speaking of the Canadiens' current season, they're entering it with a mixture of hope and uncertainty. The team has shown flashes of brilliance, especially from players like Cole Caulfield and Nick Suzuki, who have been outstanding in recent games. Caulfield, in particular, has been a revelation, showing that he's ready to take on a bigger offensive role, and Suzuki continues to be a leader on and off the ice. But beyond those stars, the team is still trying to find consistency, especially on defense and in goal. The addition of Hutson and other young players is part of a long-term vision, building a team that can contend for the Stanley Cup in the next few years. Now, it's important to note that the division is incredibly competitive. The Tampa Bay Lightning, Boston Bruins, Florida Panthers, and Toronto Maple Leafs are all loaded with talent and have deep playoff aspirations. The Canadiens, under the guidance of head coach Martin St. Louis, are trying to punch above their weight, develop their young core, and add pieces through trades and draft picks. The division race is going to be intense, and every move made by these teams could tip the scales one way or another. And that's why the talk about trade targets like Hudson and Sanderson is so relevant. It's not just about the players involved, but also about the strategic direction of the teams and how they see their future. For the Canadiens, keeping Hudson means holding on to that potential, that raw talent that might develop into a top-pair defenseman. Trading him for someone like Sanderson, who's already proven his ability at the NHL level, could be a move for immediate impact, but it also comes with risks. Looking ahead, fans are eagerly watching to see what the Canadiens will do. Will they pursue more aggressive trades? Will they hold on to their young assets and continue to develop from within? The upcoming season is crucial because it will determine whether the Canadiens are truly in a rebuild or if they're ready to make that leap into playoff contention. The team's management, led by Kent Hughes, has shown a willingness to be patient but also to act decisively when the right opportunity arises. The fans, on their part, are hungry for success, dreaming of a return to the playoffs, and maybe even another Stanley Cup run someday soon. And let's not forget the emotional aspect. This franchise has a passionate fan base that has lived through many highs and lows. The Montreal Canadiens are more than just a hockey team. They're a symbol of pride, resilience, and history. Every trade, every draft pick, and every game is watched with bated breath. The recent rumors and statements from Marinero just add another layer to that story, fueling the excitement and anticipation for what's to come. As we move forward, we have to keep an eye on how the Canadiens' roster develops, what moves they make in the coming months, and how their young core matures. Players like Hudson, Caulfield, Suzuki, and others are at the heart of this process, and the decisions made now will shape the team's future for years to come. It's a fascinating time to be a Canadiens fan, with so much potential and so many questions still unanswered. But one thing is for sure, Montreal remains a team that commands attention, respect, and a deep love from its fans. So in conclusion, whether or not Hudson and Sanderson are ever traded, it's clear that the Canadiens are in a strategic phase of their rebuild, balancing the development of their young talent with the pursuit of veteran experience and immediate impact players. The division's power dynamics are shifting, and Montreal is determined to stay competitive and keep competing at the highest level. The upcoming season will be pivotal, and every game, every trade rumor, and every breakout performance will add to this incredible story. As always, the passion runs deep, and the future looks bright for the Canadiens, even amidst the uncertainty. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Montreal Canadiens news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. And now, Montreal Canadiens fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on all of this? Do you think Hudson stays put, or would you consider a trade if it meant a shot at a quicker rebuild or a deeper playoff run? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Canadiens. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Montreal Canadiens news. This team is on the rise, and with every game, every decision, they're writing a new chapter in their long, storied history. Thanks for being part of this journey, and let's keep the passion alive.